It all started back in this last summer, and I remember it being really, it was really vague, like there was no script to read. And you know, it didn't sound like Peter Pan. It didn't sound like the Peter Pan you think of.
It's the story of how Peter Pan becomes Peter Pan because Wicked even exists, and they're like, oh, it's like a prequel to The Wizard of Oz. It's like a prequel to Peter Pan. I see what this is going to be, and they couldn't be more different.
They've created really unique takes on these, you know, archetype characters. It's like just an adventure, but it's a great adventure, and I think that they really, you know, made someone who you fall in love with.
The story is my character and her father are on a mission to get rid of a huge trunk of star stuff, which, if it falls into the wrong hands, can be used by tyrants to rule the world. On that mission, we go on 2 different ships. The ship that I'm on has these lost boys, and the ship that he's on is taken over by pirates. Along the way, trunks get swapped, and we finally make it to this island, and all sort of end up together.
What's important about this Peter is that, you know, this is the origin story, you know, and maybe the Peter Pan that everyone knows is like 50, 60 years, you know, post, you know, the show that we're putting on. He's an orphan. He was orphaned, you know, as an infant, basically, and he grew up in an orphanage, and you know, and that's kind of where his journey begins.
As far as 13-year-old heroines go, I couldn't ask for a greater little person to get to embody. She's super smart, she's curious and funny and vibrant, and all of the things that I think we want our daughters to be.
Even though J.M. Barrie wrote it, I think it's a really American story, and I think, you know, that I think that we all know Peter Pan. You know, I think that we all have a little bit of him inside of us. You know, that child that at some point in our lives, you know, we shut the curtain on.
There certainly has to be the element of somebody who will not grow up, which I think that's a very compelling story. And I think something else that's different about our version, and I think what, you know, brings people to it is there is that part of us that certainly all thinks that would be sort of amazing. And I think the take that this particular piece has is that maybe it's not so great to be Peter Pan. Maybe there are all of these things that he's never gonna get to do, which I feel like is not usually the slant that is taken in the telling of this story. And without you know, changing things around too much, it just gives a little perspective of how good it is. And you know, even as I get older, I think I like getting older. I'm happy to keep growing up and to keep having experiences and to be better for them. America
needs this story. You know, I think it's, you know, it's unbelievably hopeful and light and heartbreaking all at the same time.